Hey there, welcome to today's podcast. Thanks for joining me as always. I hope you're getting tremendous value out of these podcasts, and I strive to ensure that your time listening or watching this episode is useful for you. I had the fortune to come across a book called Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martel. And it was an eye-opening. It was really focused primarily on how entrepreneurs can really maximize their time, but it certainly could be used for personal use as well. Tremendous resource, and I think you should definitely go out and grab it. But it reminded me how precious our time is on this earth. We don't know how long we have. We've talked about this in prior podcasts around stoicism and remembering that we are mortal, and it really pushes certainly me to really use my time on a daily basis to the highest level and maximize the heck out of it and recognize that time is fleeting. But we may think that time on this earth is really short or long, whatever your perspective is, you're right. But I think we have a lot of time. I think we can easily waste it, and it's our most precious resource. You think about all the things we have in our lives, our houses, our investment accounts, but our most scarcest resource is time. We do not have an endless supply of it for sure, and at some point we will exit. And so making the most use of our time is so key to be productive in our personal lives so we get to do things we want, and certainly within our businesses, and having that grow in a manner that we want. Sometimes you have to kind of think about how to buy back your time so you can focus on really what matters and to maximize your life and your family and the things that matter to you. I've often talked about this on many episodes. People probably get tired of me saying it, but I'm not really a big fan of paying taxes. And there's legal ways to get around paying taxes if you follow the incentives put forth by the government. But the one tax that I think sometimes gets overlooked is this tax called the ignorance tax. And it's a cost we pay in our lives for not continuing to invest and get educated, learn new skills, and really progress in life. We can easily get stagnant. Certainly, I've experienced this over my life on occasion, but it's really taken to me more recently around how much I don't know and the skills I don't have and the things I want to continue to always improve upon. So I can shrink that ignorance tax. And so for those who have arrived and feel like they know everything, they're going to continue to pay this ignorance tax, and it'll make it certainly more difficult to be able to build the wealth they want or maybe even live the life they truly want and desire. So today I'm really going to cover some of those key areas that I feel that can help you buy back more time, accelerate your wealth, and certainly gain some more fulfillment in life. And really, the key word, and I know my wife doesn't love this word, it's called leverage. And leverage, used properly, and most people maybe equate it to maybe just dollars, but there's so many ways to leverage our time, our talents, and others to really push us forward. There's only so much we can do ourselves personally. And so finding leverage points within our personal or business lives will really help push us to reach our goals faster and hopefully do it so we can buy back our time. So I'm going to just cover four kind of key areas I think about when I think about leverage. And as I alluded to, the first area is typically what people think about is using other people's money, capital, right? We thinking about it when we buy a home, right? We usually get a loan, or especially around rental properties, which I'm a big fan of, is how we can accelerate our wealth is to use the bank's money to purchase assets that will create us income. And so using other people's capital or is one way to accelerate wealth and buy back time. Now, it certainly is not meant to help you consume things in your life. Really, we're focused on is helping to build our asset in our business or buying assets in like real estate or other things like that will bring us back more money that can help support our lifestyle, right? And that buys us back time, right? So that's the kind of concept around it. Now, obviously, anyone who's listened to this show long enough, the biggest place where we use for financing is the infinite banking concept and uniquely designed life insurance policies. So we borrow and we use the life insurance company kind of almost like a banking function. It's not a bank, but we use that to to borrow against our assets in life insurance to feed our business, feed our assets, real estate, you name it, and we can control that financing and build some leverage in our financial lives, right? So that's just a key area, but it has to be done with the idea of buying assets and be able to basically bring income back to us now, not when we're 59 or 60 years old in retirement, right? So it's meant to fulfill our income needs during our life, and so that we can gain more freedom and control of it. So capital, obviously, big area. The second area, and I kind of alluded to earlier, is about education, right? There's so many ways to get educated outside the formal education space. Certainly, the formal education space has its place, but I think as I've expanded my own exposure to other areas, I would encourage you to think about other areas. Obviously, books and going to seminars, YouTube, social media, you name it. There's so many areas to get education, and there's so many ways to get it pretty cheaply. And you can really start building your skill base and your knowledge base that will make you more informed and pay down that ignorance tax. And it's all available for us. We just have to consume it. And sometimes it's worth paying for, right? Because, you look at some of these courses and they could be super expensive. But imagine being able to take someone's experience over 5, 10 years of maybe failing a bunch and losing a bunch of money and learning better ways to do things. Imagine you can speed up the learning for yourself by buying courses that they've created that can really elevate your skill base as a personal investor or a business person, you name it, anything that you're trying to build skills on, that you can basically make yourself more valuable and potentially produce more revenue for you that allows you to buy back your time, right? Or work with only certain clients that you want to work with. So these are key areas that getting more educated and building up your arsenal of skills and knowledge bases and talent help you speed up the progress you make and then ultimately buy you back more time. And it's really, I think more and more, I think that is the better route to go because it's impossible to learn all these things. And do you want to spend all that time learning it, or could you leverage other resources and people who've already done it and speed up the process? Now, the third area is to leverage other people, right? Not just getting educated, but leverage other people to help you on your goals, right? Whether it's helping manage things in your house, like landscapers or cleaning people. People are doing things in your life that may be consuming up your time so that they can do that for you so you can go and focus on things that will potentially be more valuable to you. So that's really key, and certainly on the personal side. But from the business side is obviously employees or other support people that you just don't have the expertise. For instance, I gotten help from a marketing team because it wasn't an area that I was as comfortable with. Yes, I could learn it, but it wasn't a passion of mine either. So find people with passions in other areas that you don't actually want to do or are an expert in, and leverage what they've built up and learned over time. And it's the power of teams. I grew up playing sports and really always been around teams. And we know the power of having a team, collaborating together, working and sort of balance each other's skill sets and even personalities, that we could do way more than us individually. And so borrowing and working with others who can be complementary to you will speed up your progress and ultimately buy back more of your time. And so it's really key. And I think over the past last decade. So do I really appreciate the power of that because it really can speed things up and let people stay in their unique genius and let them thrive. And I think ultimately it's 1 + 1 = 3 or 4. Now, the last kind of core area I want to share, and I know this was kind of a quick podcast, I just want to give you some thoughts around is tools, right? And content like code, things that are being programmed in this day and age with AI and so much technology. There's so many tools that we can leverage to do things for us or speed things up for us. And some of the tools that I have grown to adopt through my kind of daily and weekly life are basic, right? So Sunday, I spend some time in the evening just mapping out the entire week. And so I have a tool that helps me sort of just identify my core priorities for the week, the kind of big three for the week, and make sure that I focus more of my energy and time there so that at least I hit the things that are most important. But it helps me just stay focused and disciplined because it's in life, it's easy to get distracted. I get that. So I know it might be something that you're facing as well. But having those key priorities for a week nailed down and having a sort of tool to help you sort of remind yourself what those things are really helpful. And it goes along with daily planning. You can easily get sort of wrapped up in like these long to-do lists and endless supplies, but really focusing on what really matters. I'm a big sort of proponent of that 80-20 rule, the Pareto's principle, and there's certain things in your life that really make the most impact. And the idea is that 20% of what you do really drives 80% of what the accomplishments and goals that you're setting forth. Those are the things that are going to impact things. So really hyper focus on some of those core important things in your business life, your personal life, time with family, whatever it is, that those are the things that are prioritized. Another thing that's really helped me too is around calendar blocking. And this is something I've learned over a course of time is blocking time in areas that are similar activities. And I've fallen off this wagon on occasion and still getting better at it, but finding time to do things that are common together so that you can get in that sort of rhythm, right? To kind of switch back and forth a whole host of things, but personal business life can be very distracting and it takes a while for your brain and sort of the resources you need to do the things to gather them. And so you just kind of, it just causes all this transition time and loss of momentum and ultimately time. And obviously, there's so much technology now to do a lot of things. So, trying to find tools and processes. Look at AI today; that it's become essentially a personal assistant. You ask it anything you want, and on certain things, and you get pretty good answers. Yeah, you have to vet these things, but it speed things up. So, trying to find all those areas of automation and code and other technologies to really spur you to be more efficient and help you focus your energy on the things that truly matter. And ultimately, when you look at all these things, and I've outlined a lot of these things in my book, Wealth Beyond the Numbers. You can go pick that up, and just some tips and tools that I've used over my time frame to try to be more productive and maximize every hour and day of my life. And it's still a work in progress, but that's the beauty of it. It's making these incremental steps forward, and you just over time it's really going to compound, just like our wealth, right? And most people are not going to build their wealth in a matter of a snapshot of some jackpot. Yeah, it happens on occasion, but for most people it's consistent growth and learning and sort of progress and staying on top of things and ensuring that you're protected along the way will help you increase your chances of success. So I hope this short podcast was helpful for you. Our most precious resource is time. And I constantly remind myself of that because I want to spend my time on the things that matter with the people that matter to you. And I suspect that's something that you want to do as well. Because the last thing we want to do as we're potentially exiting this world is having regrets. And one of the regrets is spending time with the people that matter to you, spending time doing the things that matter to you. Those are going to be the things that help you know that you've lived the life that you truly wanted. And that's what I want for everyone who I come across with and hopefully get to impact in some way. Because the more everyone focuses on their area of focus and genius and passion, I think the world will be a better place. And that's the kind of world I want to live in. So hopefully it was helpful, and we'll see you on the next episode of the Perennial Pride Podcast.
Thanks for joining me on this episode today. I really am grateful for you as listeners to the Perennial Pride podcast. I hope you're getting some tremendous value out of it and hopefully pushing you along your journey to financial freedom. I put this podcast together really to help you get more educated around your finances so that you feel empowered to live the life that you really want. And if you like the content that you heard today or watched, then I would encourage you to go to my website, perennialpride.com. There's tons of other content there. And you can access my book, Wealth Beyond the Numbers. You can buy it there on my website. It's a aggregation of a lot of great tips and tools I've learned to not only build my wealth in my accounts, but build wealth in my life. and abundance and joy, and something that has a lot of my experiences in the journey that I've been on personally. Hopefully that can be also of value to you as you sort of move forward. So thanks again for being a Perennial Pride listener, and we'll see you on the next episode.